Asante Mensah, coming to you from our national studios here in Accra, Ghana. My name is Kofi Asante Mensah, and this is Pulse of the Week. Today is Friday, the 30th day of January 2026. Welcome to the program. We begin first with our African proverb for today, and it's coming all the way from Ethiopia. It says, knowledge is a garden. If it is not cultivated, it cannot be harvested. And that is our African proverb from Ethiopia for you this very evening. Today, we have a lot of stories, and we're focusing on two major stories for you this very evening. The big stories here in the Republic of Ghana, featuring on Pulse of the Week with your man, Kofi Asante Mensah. Welcome on board. We begin today's broadcast with the big story that happened yesterday, and the ruling National Democratic Congress makes sweeping reforms and outlines activities for the internal elections for 2026. There are several reforms led by Fifi Fiavikwete he has outlined. Today, we would also take a good dig deeper into the waters of the opposition New Patriotic Party, because in less than 24 hours, the opposition New Patriotic Party decides on who leads the New Patriotic Party into the general election 2028 as flag bearer. We have all the analysis with the data man, Musa Dankwa. We'll do a lot of security analysis with our security expert, Ibad Ibrahim. These are the stories we are canvassing for you. We'll go back into history like I promised you on Wednesday to look at the historic antecedents of the New Patriotic Party presidential primaries. We'll also take some few steps into the internal elections of the ruling National Democratic Congress. So welcome on board. Going for a quick one. When I return, we have all the big stories here for you on Pulse of the Week. Please do follow us on our many social media platforms and like our page, share some few comments, and we'll be so happy to read it to the rest of the world. Welcome on board. My name, once again, Kofi Asante Mensah. The program is Pulse of the Week. The channel's name is NSGJH. Welcome.
Oh, no beginning. Get used to it. I have stepped into my new beginning. Yesterday is gone. Yesterday of darkness is gone. A whole new beginning. Yeah, 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 yeah. Get used to it. I've stepped into my new level. See me watching me flying on eagle's wing. A whole new beginning. New beginning.
Always a pleasure to have you back. It's Pulse of the Week with your man, Kofi Asante Mensah, and this is NSG News. Thank you so much for being today's stories from the camp of the ruling National Democratic Congress, because ahead of its 2026 National Delegate Conference, the National Democratic Congress, NDC, has outlined key timelines for nominations, vetting, and elections, while unveiling reforms aimed at promoting internal cohesion and credibility. General Secretary Fifi Fiavikwete confirmed that the party will hold its National Delegate Conference on December 19th, 2026 to elect new national officers. Nominations for positions will run from November 7 to November 9, 2026, with vetting scheduled for November 12 and November 13th. This is how he puts it.
Any person seeking to contest for a party position who currently holds an office to which he or she was appointed by the president or government must resign from that office at least 6 clear months before filing nomination forms. 2. Chairpersons or members of boards or persons in analogous positions are exempt from this restriction. Why? Because they are not full-time employees. So those who are full-time employees are affected. And the following are those who are affected. The affected officers under paragraph 1 include, but are not limited to: A, ministers and deputy ministers; B, chief executive officers, managing directors, their deputies, or analogous officers; C, metropolitan, municipal, and district chief executives. So those are the three main categories that we mentioned. I take them again. The affected officers under paragraph 1 include, but are not limited to: A, ministers and deputy ministers; B, chief executive officers, managing directors, their deputies, or analogous officers; C, metropolitan, municipal, and district chief executives. Now, the official guidelines for the elections will from today be made public. So all of you will be able to have access to it. Now, for the avoidance of doubt and for absolute clarity, those intending to contest at the constituency level who fall in the category I just mentioned, the three categories I mentioned, those intending to contest at the constituency level shall resign by April 2026. Those intending to contest at the regional level shall resign by May 2026. And those intending to contest at the national level shall resign by June 2026. These provisions are firm, constitutional, and will be enforced without exception. So please don't even bother to come and see whether you can plead to be exempted, because there's no plea in this matter. Now, call to party officials and members. This reorganization process, ladies and gentlemen, demands discipline, integrity, fairness, and collective responsibility. I therefore call on all party officials from the branch to the national level to apply themselves diligently, act transparently, and uphold the values of the National Democratic Congress. So registers or books are going to be returned to the branches between the period 30th of January to the 10th of February. The responsibility for this particular activity going to lie with the regional and the constituency secretariats. So they will be in charge of this very important assignment, the regional and constituency secretariats. Now, the supervision of this will be done by the National, Regional, and Constituency Executive Committee. So take note of the difference. The regional and constituency secretariats will be in charge of the activity, that's the responsibility, to be supervised by the National, Regional, and Constituency Executive Committee. That's the first activity. Number 2, registration of new members, which will also be done together with the updates of the register. This very important activity, which has to do with registration of new members and an update of our register, the period scheduled for this is the 10th February through to the 30th of March. So 10th February to the 30th of March, the important assignment of registering new members for the party and to also update.
And there you have it. Fifi Fiavi-Kwetey happens to be the General Secretary for the ruling National Democratic Congress. This evening, we are very heavy on these two major political parties in our country, the ruling National Democratic Congress and also the opposition New Patriotic Party, because tomorrow is their big day. But let's deal with the NDC first, then we'll get into the New Patriotic Party. Clearly, Fifi Fiavi-Kwetey is indicating over there that the National Delegate Conference will be held on the 19th of December 2026 to elect new national officers, and the nomination will be open on the 7th of November to the 9th of November 2026, and voting will take place on the 12th of November to the 13th of November 2026. And you heard him clear. Government appointees, you have to resign, and resignation must be done 6 months prior to the polls. Constituency executive or constituency level, if you want to contest any election within the constituency level, you have to resign before by April 2026. The regional level election, please, you have to go ahead and resign before the month of May. And national level election or appointment or competition, if you want to be part of any competition or contest for any election at the national level, you have to resign by June this year. And they are clear with that. And the second phase of that very press conference indicates that there will be registration of new members who have turned 18 and they are willing to be part of the ruling National Democratic Congress, there will be an open of registration to register new members from the 10th of February to 30th of March. Registration of new members 2026, 10th of April, February, 10th February to 30th of March. And the third phase of that very press conference indicated that authentication of the register would be the next step. They would authenticate and validate the register from all branch levels to regional and to the national, and it will take place in April 2nd to April 30th. 2026. So authentication of the register April 2 to April 30. Vetting and appeals. If you have any appeal, you can bring it. It's between May 20 and June 30. That is the 20th day of May to the 30th day of June 2026. Then validation of branch executives. All branch executives would be validated, and that process will take place in July 10 to July 30, 2026. I have our security expert and policy analyst, Mr. Ibad Ibrahim, already on Zoom, and I want to engage him. We'll come to the New Patriotic Party. I have the history of the presidential primaries of the New Patriotic Party since 1992, and we have it in the infographics we want to show you. I have the profiles of the 5 contenders or the contestants for this very election, which is happening tomorrow. I have it here for you. I'll share it with you. I have the regional breakdown of tomorrow's election also here. Then we'll do more security as we prepare for elections tomorrow, even though it's an internal election for the opposition party, but we'll look at the security and also interrogate the data of the man, Global Info Analytics, Musa Dankwa. He'll be joining us on Zoom pretty shortly, but I want to first engage our policy analyst and also security expert, Mr. Ibad Ibrahim. Mr. Ibad Ibrahim, I can see you on Zoom right now. It's been a while. I hope you are well.
And I can see your handsome face as well.
Absolutely. A happy new year. I'm not sure it will be bad, right?
Many happy returns to you, Senior Kofi Asante.
Thank you very much. Now let's get into it. Ahead of the New Patriotic Party's presidential election, all of a sudden, Fifi Avikwete comes in with some sweeping reforms for the NDC and says if you want to get hold of any position by way of constituency or regional or even national, you have to resign 6 clear months, and it continues like that, and he gives a calendar. What's your first impression about this? It is not too novel because we've seen people resign before 1 month or 2 months before a competition like this happened, but this one is quite long, 6 clear months.
It is quite challenging to meander the complex labyrinth of party and government. And the two are mutually inclusive. It's a chicken and egg situation. You don't build a government without a party. So the party is the mother that gives birth to the government. But at the end of the day, government becomes more resourceful than the party. Because the party as a private enterprise or the party as a form of voluntarism relies heavily on dues that are paid by party faithful. So people pay monthly or annually so that they will be in good standing. So during that time, you don't draw salary from the national kitty. The NDC, while in opposition, didn't have the power to take taxes from you and me. Then the NDC won in December 2024, and by the swearing in on the 7th of January 2025, it turned into a government. So sometimes it's very difficult for parties to have a parallel efficiency because those who go into government enjoy the largesse of the state. And sometimes people are tempted to forget where they came from. So all political parties learn from their mistakes, and it's a form of evolution that many political parties are going through. The NDC did quite a bit of work in 8 years to rebrand itself and rebrand its flag bearer, the candidates. somebody who was trailing by about 1 million votes. He cancelled the difference and 2 million votes. So it tells you that a lot of heavy lifting was done during those 8 years. And I believe they've learned their lessons. That the fact that you are an appointee and in the past 12 or 13 months, you've been able to amass a great deal of wealth. Doesn't mean that you have to torpedo certain people, especially those who really fought to bring the party to power. We still see Honorable Joseph Fiamin, Honorable Asedun Ketia, Honorable Fifi Kwete himself, and other key national executives who brazenly do not have any official role in government. But don't be surprised. A lot of people will throw their hearts into the ring, even though there is no indication any of them would want to repeat the same position. Does Joseph Yamin want to be national organizer again, or he would want to be national chairman? And does the general secretary want to remain the general secretary, or he wants to be the national chairman? Does the national chairman want to remain the national chairman, or he wants to be the flag bearer? So those who cooked this, what has turned into a juicy behemoth structure called government, sometimes are kicked out of the way because appointees who have enjoyed from the largesse of the state have deep pockets to give money and dole money around to delegates and other people to win the hearts of those people. So I think it's a very delicate decision that has been taken by the ruling NDC, that if you really want to serve the party and serve it exclusively, then you should put away the trappings of government. Let me give you an example, Senior Kofi Asante. If you are a minister, as a minister, sometimes there are up to 5, 6, or 7 agencies under you. You have to oversee all of those agencies. How do you juxtapose that with being a regional chairman, for example? How do you juxtapose that with being a national chairman, for example? So it becomes difficult. We've seen flag bearers who later became presidents during the wee hours of the administrations promise that they would dedicate a day of the week to spend at the party headquarters. But It hasn't seen the light of day. So I think this is a deliberate decision by the ruling NDC to create a dichotomy between government and party, knowing so well that it is party that gives birth to government. So they want to safeguard the hen that lays the golden eggs.
Mustafa Bande, the Deputy General Secretary of the ruling NDC, puts it this way. He says the party is meant for war, vehicles and tools meant for war. When you come back from war, you have to tighten the bolts and nuts and wash it and make sure you prepare all the gadgets again for another battle. That's how he puts it.
Yes, by and large, electoral fortunes are exploits of war. It takes grit, it takes courage, it takes loyalty. That's why some of these political parties pretty much operate like armies. So you hear somebody is general this or somebody is a field marshal. So that analogy is not far from reality. And again, we've seen civilizations over the past millennia. Whenever you are in wartime, your reflexes are sharper. But when you win wars and you have loads of spoils of war, men tend to become like women. And they build pot bellies, they become weaker, they become lethargic, they become slow and all that. But when you are coming off of the battlefield from 8 years of opposition, you are hungry, you are angry, and you are determined. But when you become an appointee, free accommodation, there's a free vehicle, you don't buy fuel, you don't pay utility bills, people can easily dole you out tens of thousands of dollars, if not hundreds of thousands of. Certainly, you will forget how to meander your way through the trenches of the battlefield. In this case, we are talking about the electoral battlefield. So I wouldn't associate myself from the fact that electoral fortunes are pretty much like spoils of war, and you need people to keep their guard to safeguard that.
Now let's enter into it. Do you see that the ruling NDC it has a pool of, if you like, human resource, because people affected with this resign before you contest in a 6-month clear period prior to the polls. Don't you think they are shooting themselves in the foot? Do they have human resource to face people like the NYA boss and a couple of others who are in such position, who are affected by the Sami Gyamfi and the rest, to fix them in the party? If they want to, he is doing well at Gold Board. If he want to resign from Gold Board 6 months and come and contest for communication officer again, then it means, do we have people to replace them?
They say you don't change a winning team. But if you don't make the needed substitutions and changes, how do you know somebody sitting on the bench can be as efficient? And mind you, many of the names you have mentioned were not neck deep in the struggles of the party in 2014 and 2015. Respectfully, we've been around a bit long enough. We've sat with virtually everybody worth his salt on various panels. And some of the names you have mentioned came post the defeat in 2016. So after a defeat, new generals, new soldiers come to the fore, and they fight ferociously. We saw the names you have mentioned fight ferociously, and others who had led the party to battle sat on the back burner. And because some people were already angry, and you can tell some of them started showing their faces many years down the line. So sometimes it helps that you change the face of the army you take to battle. You need fresh pairs of sleeves. You need fresh ideas, and there is fatigue with seeing and hearing the same voices all the time. So Ghanaians, what else do you have to tell Ghanaians? You've tasted power, and then sometimes incumbency doesn't play to your advantage. At first, you hadn't tasted it, so you had all the solutions to our problems. But when you have tasted it, your tone and rhetoric cannot be like when you were in opposition. So the dictum, the perception that you don't change a winning team works in some instances. But in the case of politics, where you want to build multiple generations of people that are winnable people, that are people that can win and sustain power, you wouldn't want to put all your eggs into one basket. We had a very effective national chairman for the NDC in the past, Chairman Wayo Wayo. When Chairman Wayo Wayo was national chairman, Asidun Kite was general secretary. And that was how they brought late Professor Mills to power. At some point, nature happened and Wayo Wayo died. And today, the secretary at that time is now playing the role of the national chairman. So there's a conveyor belt of multiple generations. Bema Beyebi na Wambeye Nina.
Now, let me find out from you. You are a policy analyst, you're a strategist, and you're a security expert. What would make a general secretary come out, if like 48 hours to the main opposition party, the New Patriotic Party presidential election, and come and do this sweeping announcement?
Well, it depends on how you look at it. Maybe all along, the itinerary of the NDC has been cast in stone. So political parties have their calendars. And please mind you, and Senior Kofi Asante, if the MPP were to go by what is customary in the election of lower level officers up to the regional level, to the national level, then the flag bearer, then we wouldn't be seeing the flag bearer contest in the next 24 or 18 or 16 hours from now. So I think we can give them the benefit of the doubt that maybe it has all along been in the pipeline that a year after being elected, these are the sweeping reforms they would want to do. And that is one leg of the argument. The other leg is that why don't we throw in something into the mix so that it disrupts and takes away from the MP what the MPP is going to do. But what would be the political capital in doing that? So I would want to say perhaps, and this has been in the offing for a while, and maybe it fits into the calendar of the NDC to want to make these sweeping reforms.
And because you mentioned this one, let me just put it to you. The New Patriotic Party is more or less doing they don't want us to call it that way, but the media keep tagging them with the expression I'm about using. They say top-down approach, and the NDC is doing a bottom-up approach. If that is accepted, of course, they are starting with a branch. They will move on to other positions before probably next year or so. They will do their flag bearership race. Which strategy works better, looking at the two political parties having won over 1.5 million votes in the last election, 2024, and having lost over 1.5 million votes in the last election, where in your stronghold, Ashanti region, they claim about 2 million people refused to go and vote. Which strategy would work?
Political parties are guided by constitutions. Constitutions that every member, a card-bearer member especially, should be aware of, and you take into cognizance that the party can whip you in line. Senator Kofi Asante, if you and I were card-bearer members of either the NDC or the MPP, we wouldn't be able to have the liberty to share our opinions the way we do. So when you subscribe to a political party, you've entered into an oath of fealty and loyalty to the tenets of that party. And according to the MPP, the change we have seen in the modus operandi in choosing their leaders is different now because it has gone through the needed constitutional amendment. So if anybody had the issues, I'm sure the person would have gone to the courts to contest. And if anybody had the issues, I'm sure the person would have handed back his or her party card to walk away. But if you're walking away free, as you and I are doing, then we can do all the criticisms. But for as long as you are bound by the tenets of a party, which is a fraternity you subscribe to, a constitution you hold dear, then it is very difficult for you to come out and rebel or mutiny against the decisions that have been taken at the highest level. But as to whether that decision is tactically and strategically beneficial, only time will tell. So they think, some of them have argued that they would want to get this out of the way so that the party can get enough time to heal. That is an argument some have given. Others also are saying, why do you keep the same body structure that took you into opposition? And if the flag bearer is chosen, who is the alpha and omega of the party, all other lower ranking officers would be whipped in line, and they would be as a result of the leisure and pleasure of the one who has been elected the flag bearer. So the underbelly of what happens subsequently will tell whether it was a good decision to adopt a top-down rather than a bottom-up approach.
Want us to leave it to time?
Time will indeed tell. And sometimes radical decisions yield positive results. We saw the MPP during Manado's time suspend the two most important leaders of the political party, and the national chairman and the national secretary, and they went on to win the election. So sometimes, and the NDC also took a very radical decision to take away their leadership in parliament, and they brought other people, to an extent that some certain MPs even came out to mutiny, to rebel publicly. That why were they being treated by the party like kids? At least they should have been informed why the then minority leader, the chief whip, and others were taken away. But at the end of the day, one would argue that looking back, that decision gave them some political gains. And today, those who were taken away from the leadership are occupying very important cabinet positions in government. So sometimes political parties bite the bullet, and only time will tell whether those decisions they take, the radical ones, are important and beneficial.
But if I should push you to make a choice, would you side with the strategy of a bottom-up approach or a top-down approach as the MPP is doing?
I think it is experimental. And when you do experiments, it's like doing titration or anything in the laboratory. And the outcome will tell whether you would eat back your words or you'd want to continue on that tangent. And I think perhaps they have a good reason they want to do this. So let's leave it to time. And I hope that whatever happens, it will fit into the literature of political science in the Republic of Ghana as to whether a bottom-up or a top-down approach helps in a political party in opposition.
In your submission, you made mention of the delegates. If somebody is not happy with it, they can take it to court, etc. There is three elderly people in our society. I think one is a woman. Two of them belongs to the New Patriotic Party, Nyahota Maklo and Professor Frimpong Boateng, and the lady I think belongs to, her name escapes me, belongs to the NDC. They have taken issue with the delegates' format or style of electing flag bearers to court. Good move?
I think we need to understand the fine line between party activism and public service. You know, political party activism is a form of voluntarism. So today, you and I can decide to set up a group, and then under the umbrella of freedom of association, freedom of that, we take cover from the law, actually. For as long as you don't draw your finances from the taxpayer, you are an independent body enshrined with all of the rights that we have in our constitution. So the one asking for a contrary mechanism or process, that burden of proof will lie upon the person to make or to present before our superior courts, so that eventually the courts can now determine for groups that are actually independent, groups that don't take public, they don't take taxes from the public. We saw people do tonaton, singaton, standaton, and all. Those were individual endeavors. And I don't think anybody could have used the cost to say, don't do kukaton. Unless maybe the money you are using for kukaton comes from the public purse. But if it doesn't cause any harm to your person, doesn't cause harm to the immediate person, and doesn't cause harm to the environment, then it becomes very difficult. On what basis? If we had a system where the state was funding political parties, and this is an argument that some people have made, to control party expenditure and expenses, why does the state not take care of party campaigns? Then you can dictate who pays the piper calls the shot, calls the tune. And so for as long as you don't determine for the MPP and the NDC how they make money, and we saw people cap in hand go to China during their days in opposition to do fundraising. And they could have taken a check from the governor of the Bank of Ghana, but because they are not beholden to the state, political parties are independent entities, and they have their constitutions, they have their rules of engagement, they have their laws. It is up to you to tell whether those laws run contrary to the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, which reigns supreme. Then there can be a pronouncement from the Supreme Court that the delegate system should be scrapped. What I think should be scrapped is by-elections need to be looked at a second time. I believe that the state can save itself a lot of tension. Many of the violent activities we have seen have been as a result of by-elections. Chereponi, Etiwa, and others, and then recently here in Accra, Ayawaso, West Wuogon, and all those. So for as long as an MP campaigned, went through the toil and sweat, spent money in the name of his or her political party, went through all the struggles to come into power, then something happens. Maybe the person passes away, or the person has dual citizenship and the seat is declared vacant. Why allow the party to go through the trouble of campaigning a second time and spending so much a second time when the tenure of the initial struggle and expenditure is still not over? So some MPs die a year into their tenure, some die 2 years into their tenure. Automatically, the political party has the right to fill in the candidate to continue the rest of the 3 or 2 years. Then we can talk about another election when the election cycle comes around again. I think it will save us a lot of tension. It will save us a lot of wastage in terms of the resources that individual and political parties use for by-elections. So if it is a seat for an NDC candidate, NDC MP, and he or she dies, the NDC should be left to do its own internal processes to fill in the gap. If the person was an MPP MP, the MPP should be left to do that. I think that is the kind of electoral reform we need, so that there wouldn't be tension that characterizes these by-elections.
I think we should all be pushing for this very reform, and I love it so much. And I want to end with you on the NDC's press conference yesterday. Would you be surprised if somebody tells you the Function Executive Committee took this very decision without the president, the leader of the party and president of the Republic, John Dramani Mahama, advice or input, or without him being aware, or he was informed later on? Would you be surprised if that comes to your attention, that John Mahama wasn't so, he's not so much in agreement with the decision to, if you like, ask members of his government to resign 6 clear months before contesting for a position like that?
Yes, Auntie. Governments come and go, but political parties are meant to remain for a while. We can't tell how long, but you are talking decades, if not centuries. So before His Excellency John Mahama, we saw others lead the party and form governments, and those people are no more. And so when you look at the body language of His Excellency with the national leaders of the party, I see mutual respect between the two factions. So I would tread cautiously and not take the bait from the speculations that perhaps this was an ambush against the president. Why would a party that, and mind you, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama didn't just walk into the Flagstaff House or the Jubilee House. These very party structures literally brought him to the Jubilee House or the Flagstaff House. So why would you kill the ambition of a man you struggled so hard to rebrand and put back into the presidency? So I would leave this within the remit of speculation and hope that, I believe there would have been consensus building, there would have been consultations, because look, being in government makes people so resourceful in so little time. That is why some MCs and their MPs can't work together, because everybody is watching over their shoulders. If I'm the one doing it and Kofi Asante has been made an appointee, Kofi Asante will be building his war chest. Everybody wants to go back and take a certain position they didn't have in the past. So it creates a little bit of friction between government functionaries and party functionaries. So drawing the line and making it clear that if it is party work you need to do, you are to report to Adabraka from Monday to Friday, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., for example. You are a party functionary. If it is government you are doing, you are at ministries, or you are at the Jubilee House, 8 to 5, from Monday to Friday. It is government work you are doing. But if the lines become blurred, I don't think when you become a jack of all trades, you become a master of none. So I think it's a very bold step, and then we'll see how the appointees react. This is a stimulus, and we'll wait to see the reactions of those who want to serve in party positions and put aside. The only thing that guarantees you sustainability when government is no longer in power, or when your party is no longer in government, is when you get a seat in parliament. So another short way people use to sustain their political ambitions is that if the appointment is juicy enough, I'll use the largesse of the appointment to secure a seat in parliament. And we've seen in some constituencies, young people became so rich, they just dislodged veteran politicians from their seats because they went into government and they became resourceful. And our democracy, unfortunately, now serves the interest of those with the deepest of pockets. So if you want to do government business, make money, serve Mother Ghana, do so. Then later you can serve the party. We saw the General Secretary himself do this. He was deputy minister at some point, and then when government lost, he took his time and then campaigned to be General Secretary. And now he's not in government, technically. He doesn't have any appointment. And sometimes not having an appointment shields you from harassment when government is no longer there. So ask yourself, how many died in the Wu MPP party functionaries are in court? I see a lot of former government appointees go to court every now and then. So in the wisdom of the political party, if it feels that if you do party work, the party takes care of you, and then issues of corruption being leveled against you would not be as rampant as when you are named a CEO, a minister, or anything of that sort. The option is there for people to choose. Either remain in government and then give an account of your stewardship when your party goes into opposition, or do party work and then shield yourself from future legal harassment.
Thank you very much. I want to take you to the New Patriotic Party analysis, but I want you to watch some few videos. There's this video, they were signing the Peace Pact on Monday, and how they also wrapped up. Yesterday, Kennedy Akompre-Kwejiepon also did a televised broadcast indicating to delegates reasons they have to choose him. I know Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was also in the Ashanti region, who wrapped up his campaign over there. Brian Acheampong did the same, and Dr. Educhum also did a very major interview to wrap up his campaign. And Kwabena Agyapong also did the same. All are lacing their boots and getting set for the D-Day, which is tomorrow. And there are some security concerns the camp of Ken Agyapong have raised in relation to the distribution of electoral materials. They made us to understand that the EC is not having enough vehicles, so they have labeled some vehicles with some EC labels to be able to transport electoral materials. They have found out that some vehicles without the label are carrying some electoral materials in part of the northern region. They are very unhappy. They are quite livid about it. This is less than 24 hours for the D-Day, and there are security concerns already. Don't also forget that I have listened. I'm a Christian. I've listened to several prophets, major prophets this week on media stations, indicating that there will be some gunshots, there will be some mayhem, there will be some apprehension. I don't know what your expert eye by way of security is watching and telling you, and I want you to watch some few videos and take a little breath. When I return, then you tell me of your expectations for tomorrow's presidential primaries.
A message that change is not optional. It is urgent. This Saturday is not routine. It is a turning point. Delegates, you are the backbone of this party. Without you, there is no MPP. Yet too often, after elections, the grassroots feel forgotten. Polling station executives feel neglected. Constituency officers unsupported. That must change, and I say it must change. Under my leadership, delegates' welfare will not be an afterthought. It will be a priority. The cycle of sacrifice followed silence must end. I will establish structured delegate welfare framework. We will maintain.
I'm not throwing my weight behind anybody. I am in to win. Okay. And I'll tell you, I had the same thing when I came to Bosomtwe to contest for Member of Parliament. I had just arrived from the US and they were saying he's testing the water. I said, no, I have no waters to test. I'm in to win. At the end, I contested. I had fierce opponents. At the end, I got 72% of the votes. So I don't test waters. Okay. I go in with my all to win. I share my story. And as a former education minister, I'm very well known by about 4 million students who have passed through senior high schools, whose schools, a number of them that I visited. I've not in to test. I have people there who know Dr. Aduchum. When I went to Odogono and Ifgobe with the students, these are students who know me. Okay. So if you're talking about somebody who in the general election will have a lot of people who know him firsthand. If you go to a Fiakobi and sit there with
1st February, ye 31st February, ye the discipline we will restore discipline in our party. Betimia Kogana Henina mepe any candidate metimia ko constituencies ewo ye mahemu nina ebinom sha asie jame so me
I have said from the very beginning that some of these so-called polls are not polls. If they were polls, they will be fake at best. But I see them as psychological operations that are being used to hoodwink delegates.
It is a 2 million per dia. And yes, Madame Funiway. And yes, a mini way in the wokuo. And yes, a way in a yatin. And yes, a way in a penasem. Name mom, dear, didn't acquire Robertimia to me in a mayano. Me poacho constituency executives I am Council of Elders me poacho 1 year didn't call election 2028 or coordinators me poacho 1 year fanning call election 2028 police station 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 I am 1 year fanning call election 2028 I am 1 year fanning call I am 1 year fanning call I am 1 year fanning call Madame Kassani Bawi and Mutie and Nipan Numuna or Mopetu meaning in Ano or Munina MPP for or Munina and Komoye.
A pleasure. That's quite an insightful video over there. My name is Kofi Asante Mensah, and this is NSG's Pulse of the Week. It's Friday, the 30th day of January 2026. And tomorrow is the big day here in Ghana because 5 contenders are going in for the flag bearership race of the opposition New Patriotic Party by way of reforming the party ahead of the 2028 general elections. On Zoom, I've been engaging policy and security experts regular on this very channel, Mr. Ibad Ibrahim, and we have gone through the NDC stories. We are now with the MPP stories. We are canvassing 2 major stories, amazingly, from the 2 major political parties. Now, Ibad, talk to me. What are your expectations, security expectations, ahead of tomorrow? They tell us today, Nana B was on Asempa this evening indicating, and he's been on several platforms, several media platforms, indicating that they have gotten an intel that the national security want to unleash some men to cause mayhem, etc. This is an intel, he will never tell you the source. But they have left all security in the arms of the Ghana Police Service, led by Mr. IGP Yono, and they are okay with that. They don't want any national security at any what do you call polling station. I think the only indication they made was in Boko, where some military officers will couple with the police to protect ballots and protect electorate over there. Please share with me your expectations for tomorrow.
I think by and large, COP Yohono, who is our current IGP, has seen it all in terms of organizing elections. You remember in the past, especially in 2016, when the ruling NDC lost power, I think he was in charge of election security in that year. And subsequently has served in really privileged positions, police intelligence department, the PID, and all that. So he comes to the table with a great deal of experience in terms of which buttons to press to ensure that the electoral process is safe, peaceful, and secure. And we've seen the signing of a peace pact. Now it has gone beyond inter-party commitments to intra-party commitments. And so all 5 candidates have ratified a document that binds them, which they are committed to. If the election turns out to be free, fair, and transparent, and there is no reason to cause a security upset, there's no reason for their followers to damage the security reputation of their party and also the Republic of Ghana. So armed with these 2 assurances, an assurance from the Ghana Police Service led by the IGP, COP Yohono, and an assurance from the candidates themselves that for as long as the process is free, fair, and transparent, there will be no need to whip up their base to cause any security disruptions in the Republic of Ghana. So I want to tread on the path of optimism that with these 2 assurances, tomorrow may turn out as peaceful as necessary. And again, we've seen in recent, by-elections, and even the major election, that state security versus the Ghana Police Service and other security agencies have been quite professional in the conduct of their work. The Electoral Commission also, which is on life support right now in terms of its leadership, the top 3 leaders don't know their fate. Here there's been a litany of petitions for their removal and all that. And Dr. Bosman, I've been co-panelists with him before, and the others who are also serving in that capacity. I believe, even though they can't tell what their fate will be before the next general election, these internal elections are a platform for them to justify that they can be efficient, they can be non-biased or unbiased, they can sit on the fence and can serve as neutral umpires in some of these elections. So this is to have a smooth sailing election. So perhaps that could give the government of the day a change of heart, and that they are competent enough to lead Ghana into the next general election. And so everybody, there is a lot to lose. The part of the candidates, on the part of the Electoral Commission, on the part of our security services, that something may go amiss security-wise tomorrow. So I want to be optimistic. As for allegations and counter-allegations, I'm sure they will be quite rampant from tonight throughout tomorrow. Even in our major elections, you hear people say people have moved ballot boxes somewhere, people have printed some papers here and there. So yours is to provide a sentinel of evidence, and that what you are alleging as a security breach has happened. I am optimistic that security agencies should be able to jump to the occasion and tackle some of these concerns that have been raised by the national organizer of the opposition MPP, as well as other accusations and allegations we'll get to hear of tonight throughout the election day tomorrow as well.
I have my final question, but amazingly, it's about 3 questions put into one. And I want to find out from you, do you believe in prophecy? Please think about it. And once you answer that, considering the 2023 presidential primaries where Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia won, considering that process and Kennedy Pong was second, do you feel assured that the process would go peaceful? Because it looks like this year the tension is quite high, especially on the ground. Even on very major media platforms, you can see tensions are very, very high. And the EC you just spoke about is the same EC the Ken Camp is accusing them already of sending, if you like, electoral materials to places with vehicles that are not officially labeled. In all of this, are you assured?
Prophecy. The three heavenly religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, and I belong to the latter, Muslim. We believe in the prophets, and that is why we all share the patriarchy of Abraham, Moses, Isaac, Ishmael, Jacob, and all those. So we believe that God reveals himself to men that are made of flesh and blood. But how does God reveal himself? Sometimes a person may have an intuition. Sometimes you have a eureka moment that if I did this, this would have happened. But prophecy is about telling the future. So God decides who he tells or who he whispers to about what will happen tomorrow. But over the past few years, Ghana's prophecies have largely been electoral. And they've largely been about who dies this year or next year. And so that is why I have a little premonition. I think prophecy has to be holistic. When Nehemiah, Ezra, and others prophesied, and that the children of Israel, the Israelites, would go back to their promised land or their homeland, it was based on solid foundation, solid evidence of an interaction with the divine, God Almighty. And every religion has a special name for this divine. And so when our prophecies are only about who wins an election and who dies next year, when the one prophesying never tells us God has revealed to him or her when he himself or herself will die, then have serious issues with Ghana's prophecies. You can't pick and choose what God should prophesy in your life about. But we've seen major, incidents before Ghana, which the prophets didn't tell us about. So I would say anybody who wins tomorrow would have won on the strength of his message, would have won on the strength of his strategy, and would have won on the strength of the determination of those observing the elections to make sure that the process is free and fair. So therefore, I believe we should be very careful how we abuse theology. Seeking an electoral victory has to do with efficient organization, efficient strategy. And I want to leave it at that. Prophecies, if it is about prophecy, then someone can prophesy, then don't campaign. If you can believe in a prophecy and win an election, there's no need for you to campaign. In some of the videos you played, some candidates have indicated how far and wide they traveled throughout the campaign period to meet delegates, sell their messages to them. Those are the empirical things that win elections. So if God has revealed to somebody that Kofi Asante will be president in 2028, I'm sure you will not need to campaign and you will be president anyhow, but you need to go through the drudgery of the process, the travail of the process. And it is only through the dint of hard work and determination that you win an election.
Mr. Ibad Ibrahim, always a pleasure having you on our network. Mr. Musa Dankwa was built to be on the show, but Mr. Musa Dankwa has been very busy this week, and I know, and Dr. Kwesi Amache Boateng, they have all been very busy. But we thank you so much for being on our platform. Tomorrow we'll be here to do more analysis. By evening, I think it's almost 7. By 7 tomorrow, Saturday, 31st of January, we should be having a flag bearer for the New Patriotic Party, I'm sure. And we'll be happy to announce it. I pray you are less busy tomorrow so we can still engage you even as the voting goes on tomorrow. Thank you very much. We appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you for having me all the time. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, so we'll go for a quick breather. That was our security and policy analyst, Mr. Ibad Ibrahim. There, we'll go for a quick breather. When we return, please don't move an inch because I have the profile and the history of the presidential, NPP presidential primaries I want to share with you. Please stay. I'll be right back.
You know, if you look at the last election, some were in complete shock
of the results.
Yes. While we were telling them 6 months before that.
So you are a traitor or what? I don't know.
The last person who will be a traitor in this country will be me. I'm very patriotic.
It is alleged that NDC is sponsoring you to do their dirty work. Let me put it that way. That's my word, dirty work, to discredit the advances of the NPP. You've been drawn into partisan politics. How do you come out of this one?
One, I have not been contracted, required to do anything for NDC against any entity in this country. Absolutely not. I don't belong to the NDC. I don't belong to the NPP. I don't have political party affiliation with any other party. No. Now look, where we are in Hacho now. I remember when I was going to write the O-levels, I didn't have money to pay for the fees. So I had to carry labor, do by day labor. Here. We're one of those who started building houses in this area as a laborer. You have to even go and carry the cement from afar because there were no buildings to store them in. This would be the shock. We were branded as mad people. But the numbers we were banding around was in excess of a 2.something million gap. We have to realize that the country, Ghana, has changed profoundly, even from 2016 levels.
I think it wasn't Ghana government funded.
No, it wasn't Ghana government funded. No, on your own you struggle and then you go to Denmark. I remember when I arrived in Frankfurt on my way to Denmark, I had only $500 in my pocket. And that was to pay for your accommodation, pay for your feeding, pay for everything.
All right, thank you very much, and thank you for joining us. Today is Friday, the 30th day of the month, January, and the year 2026. This is NSG News, and you can see our social media platforms over there. Please go ahead and like our page and share some comments with us, and we'll be happy to read it to the rest of the world. Please share our link with your friends and family. Let me take you down memory lane relating to the New Patriotic Party history and elections, and I want to take you far back to 1992 with the help of my production team and post-production team members, graphic and infographics team members. We have done this to share with you this very evening. 1992, the NPP presidential primary, the total delegates were 1,998. That's 1,998. And there you have it on screen right now. And those who competed, or the candidates, were Dr. Did I say doctor? Yes, there's doctor here though. But the first person is Albert Dubois. He had 1,121 votes, representing some 56.60%. Dr. Jani Selby, he had 343 votes, representing some 17.30%. J.A. Kufuor also was there in 1992. He had 326 votes, representing some 16.50%. Dr. Kwame Safo Edu was also there. He had some 149 votes, 149 votes, representing some 7.50%. J.A. Addison, he had 32 votes, representing some 1.60%. John Kwame Kodia, he was the last person who had 9 votes, representing 0.50%. The winner for the 1992 NPP presidential primaries, the first time NPP presidential primaries, was Albert Edu Boahen. Let's move to the 1996 NPP presidential primaries. Delegates, total delegates, 1,996 over there. The candidates and the votes they had are here follows. The competition was between J.A. Kufuor. At the end of the day, he had 1,034 votes, representing some 51.99%. Albert Edu Boahen, he had 710 votes, 710 votes, representing 35.70%. J.H. Mensah, I remember this name, J.H. Mensah, he had 110 votes, representing some 5.53%. Jones Ofori Atta, he had 69 votes, representing some 3.47%. Kwame Safo Edu, he had 42 votes, representing 2.11%. And the last person over here, that is Johnny Selby. His name is quite a mouthful. That is, he had 24 votes, representing some 1.21%. The winner for the 1996 NPP presidential election or flag bearership election was J.A. Kufuor, John Ejekum Kufuor. Let me take you to the 1998 NPP presidential primaries. The total delegate was 1,993. And here are the candidates and the votes they had. J.A. Kufuor contested. He had 1,286 votes, representing 64.60%. Nana Akufo-Addo, he had 628 votes, representing 31.64%. Kofi Apreku, he had 52 votes, representing 2.82%. Kwame Kodia, he had 8 votes, representing 0.44%. Malik Al-Hassan Yakubu, he had 7 votes, representing 0.35%. J.H. Mensah had 3 votes, representing 0.15%. The winner for the 1998 NPP presidential primaries was J.A. Kufuor. Now let me take you to 2007 NPP presidential primary or flag bearership elections. So the total, we have the delegates 2,000 plus because of proxy. So the candidates and the results are Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. He had 47.97%. Alan John Chiramanten, he had 32.5%. Aliu Mahama, he had 6.7%. Yao Osafo Mafu, he had 1.5%. And the winner was Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. The 2010 NPP presidential primaries, 2010. Total delegates, including proxy, was 113,000. 113,000. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo had 83,361 votes, representing 77.92%. Alan John Kyerematen had 21,820 votes, representing 20.40%. Isaac Osei had 1,109 votes, representing 1.04%. Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng had 398 votes, representing 0.37%. Reverend Kwame Kodua, 294 votes, representing some 0.27%, and the winner was Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Now, let me take you to the 2014 presidential MPP presidential election. Delegates plus proxy, they were 141,000. 141,000. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo had 117,413 votes, representing 94.35%. Alan John Kyerematen had 5,908 votes, representing 4.75%. Francis Adai Nimo had 1,128 votes, representing 0.91%. The winner was Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Now I take you to the 2019, the 2019 MPP presidential election. The outcome was an unopposed, meaning Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo won it unopposed. He went unopposed. That is 2019. Now, we have the 2023, the New Patriotic Party primaries and presidential primaries. Total delegates, including proxy, 193,346. And the valid votes, 192,446. Candidates. Dr. Mahmudu Bawumia, he had 118,210 votes, representing 61.43%. Kennedy Ohene Ejepon had 71,996, representing 37.41%. Dr. Owusu Efriye Akoto had 1,459 votes, representing 0.76%. Francis Adai Nimo had 781 votes, representing some 0.41%. And that is digging down in memory history for you, down memory lane by way of the MPP presidential primaries. I want to take you to the profile of those who are contending or contesting for this very election happening tomorrow, 31st of January 2026. I want to start with the first man on the ballot. His name is Kennedy Ohene Ejepon. Kennedy Ohene Ejepon. He is the first on the ballot, and the second is Dr. Brian Achiampong, and third is Dr. Mahmudu Bawumia. The fourth is Dr. Yao Osei Educhum, and the fifth is Engineer Kwabena Ejepon. So I begin with he's not a doctor. His name is Kennedy Ejepon. And Kennedy Agyapong, I want to take you to where he was born, the date he was born, and tell you some few profiles or some few information about him. And you'll be seeing it in your short pretty shortly. So let's look at when he was born. Kennedy Agyapong was born on the 16th day of June 1960, all the way in Asen Dompim, and it is in the central region of the Republic, and there you have it in your short. He's a Ghanaian businessman and also a politician. He's a former member of parliament for Asen Central. He is a member of the New Patriotic Party, of course, a strong member competing for the flag bearership race now. Here are his strengths. His strengths are here. His very strong grassroots appeal. He has a very, very strong grassroots appeal. He's bold, fearless communicator. He doesn't care. He will say it. He has a high name recognition in Ghanaian politics. And his campaign team is a grassroots mobilizer, media and communication loyalist. You don't forget he has numerous media organizations, and he's a business ally. People in the business fraternity identifies with him. He's a youth-focused coordinator by way of the New Patriotic Party. He always advocates for the youth. His education, he attended the Adisadel College Secondary Education, Fordham University, USA for his tertiary education, PhD in economics. And here are some few weaknesses of the man Kennedy Agyapong. Very controversial public remarks. He would go all length with you. Very controversial. He doesn't mind if it is in the public. He is very controversial. Seen as confrontational. He is also seen as confrontational. And the last one over here, limited technocratic image, meaning the technocrats does not or do not identify with him so much. Where are his targets? Delegates. His target delegates are there in the polling station executives. He's also targeting the grassroots party members, looking forward to also target those who are protesting against the status quo of the New Patriotic Party, that is the anti-establishment delegates. Central region and Ashanti region delegates are also his target. So that is the profile of the man Kennedy Agyapong. And we have Mr. Ibad, not Ibad, I just finished with Mr. Ibad Ibrahim, pardon me. Mr. Musa Dankwa is live with us on Zoom right now. I want to hot the profile of the candidate we have had so far and get into discussion with Mr. Musa Dankwa, because he has put in his integrity on the line and he has stick his neck out. And I want to question him reasons why he should do that for a politician like Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Let's go ahead and engage Mr. Musa Dankwa. Mr. Musa Dankwa, good evening. I can see you are very stressful. You are tired.
Good evening, and thank you for having me. Not stressful, but just worn out, fatigue. Otherwise,
okay, maybe
everything
you have
is
to
fine.
unmute so I can hear you. All right, so Mr. Musa Dankwa is unmuting for us to hear him quite clearly over there. And Mr. Musa Dankwa is the Executive Director for Global Info Analytics. They have done a survey or a poll indicating clearly some 57% of the poll indicates that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is winning. No runoff, he's winning hands down. And I want to go to him right now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Mr. Musa Dankwa, good evening. I said I can see you are quite stressed because this week I've seen you on numerous television stations, and the battle is even on for tomorrow and Sunday and even Monday next week.
I mean, it's just exhausting rather than stressful. I'm not stressed. I'm relaxed. We are relaxed about everything. I don't lose sleep about this work done. So for me, it's quite okay.
Mr. Musa Dankwa, how much did you receive that you put your integrity on the line for a politician like Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia?
No, we don't put our integrity for anybody. I have not said I've put my integrity on the line for everybody. But as a poster, when you do your work and you believe in the data, you stand by it. What I say, I stand by the data. It doesn't matter what. If that's what you interpret as putting my integrity on the line, that's up to you. But we haven't said that directly. But we've defended the work we have done, and we are very confident that what we've done will pan out.
Now, take me through it. I think this last and final poll was done and published, I think, on the 23rd of January 2026. What's the sample size? Please take me through it step by step. Let the viewers watching us right now also appreciate what you are strongly standing by.
Look, I will take you through the methodology and then through the data and why we believe in what we have seen. We sampled over 10,100 MPP delegates across the country, randomly from 272 out of the 276 constituencies, randomly. So it's quite extensive. We have drawn from every constituency except 4. This was telephone interview, we call them telephone assisted, computer assisted telephone interviews, where an operator on the telephone would engage the delegate on the various questions in the questionnaire to the end, and they give us their view. The interviews were conducted between 29th December and 23rd January, so a period of 4 weeks. This week, or the telephone week, or the weekly polls were done using 2,500 samples at each occasion, or on each occasion. And these 2,500 were spread daily, Monday to Friday. Say Monday we do 500, another day 500, until we cover the 2,500 every week. So we have done this tracking poll over a period of 4 weeks daily, except for Saturdays and Sundays. Now, why are we confident in what we have done? Look, the headline poll suggests that 48% of the delegates say they prefer Bawumia, 25% say they prefer Kennedy, and you have 6% saying Brian Acheampong, 1% Educhum, and 21% say they will not disclose. Not that they don't know, but they won't tell us. So you could see that Bawumia is nearly 50% required from the numbers that we have. Now, the question is, out of this 21%, how many undisclosed will be for Bawumia? Now, if you look at that data, it tells you just one story. We did go further to ask the delegates whether they believe that presenting a candidate for the second time will help the party win the election. 45% of MPP delegates believe in the notion that if you present somebody for the second time, it helps the party win the election. 23% disagree, and 32% have no opinion. So you can see that nearly 50% of them believe that a second candidate gives them a better chance. And among the candidates that are contesting, only Bawumia fit that description. And then we went ahead to ask them the kind of qualities they are looking for in the presidential candidate that they want to vote for. When you do that, I mean, they mention a person who can win. 23% of the delegates say that they are prioritizing somebody who can win for them. But 17% said looking for somebody who cares for the grassroots. Another 16% or 60% said somebody who can bring change. Another 16% is somebody who can unite the party. Somebody who said they want trustworthy, humble person, or somebody who is a fighter, or any other factor. So we have these criteria or the qualities that they've expressed to us they want to see. Now, what we do is to go back and see those who say the best person to win is who we prefer. Who are they voting for? We will know very soon. Besides that, we did ask them consistently, how do you see the following candidates in terms of favorability? Bawumia, how do you see him? Favorable or unfavorable? Kennedy, favorable or unfavorable? Brian, favorable or unfavorable? Educhum, favorable or unfavorable? Now, if you look at that kind of responses, what we find is that in the month of the January Bawumia is on 93% favorability. They're not saying they will vote for him. No, they see him positively, favorably. Whereas 85% see Kennedy favorably. 86% see Brian favorably. Educhum, 83%. And Ajay 85%. So you could see that Bawumia is miles ahead when it comes to favorability rating compared to Kennedy. Now, if you look at the trajectory of favorability, Bawumia was 92.5% on 2nd January 2026. He ended the week or the period on 94.6% on the 23rd January 2026. Kennedy was 85% beginning of the year 0201, and he ended the polling with 85.4, just 0.1% increase above the initial data of 85.3 in 4 weeks. Then you look at Brian Achampong, who was on 83.7 in the beginning and ended up on 89.1 in the end. You could see that Bawumia made gradual improvement from where he was beginning of the period to the end. Brian made significant progress from 84 roughly to around 89. But Kennedy really made just 0.1% improvement over the whole period. You could see that the candidates who were probably higher than Kennedy were the ones that from the poll you could see have made some significant gains, really by Brian Achampong. Now, if we ask them, who would you want to vote for? 48% remember said Bawumia, 25% said Kennedy, 6% Brian, 1% Educhum. Now, if you look at the reason we are saying Bawumia is going to win, let's look at this data. Among those who give us some qualities that they expect the candidate to exhibit before winning their vote, let's take the can win quality. And those who pick can win, who are they voting for? And those who pick the other qualities, who are they voting for? Now, if you give me a few minutes, I will just look at the data quickly for you. Right.
Okay. All right, so we are engaging, Mr.
I'm just trying to, okay, here we are.
All right.
For the delegates who say they want somebody who is humble, remember there are about 8 qualities also. Those who say they want somebody who is humble, Bawumia gets 67% of those delegates, and Ken gets 21%. For those who said they want somebody who is trustworthy, 45% of them were found to be voting for Bawumia, and 32% for Kennedy. For those who said they want somebody who's a fighter, 25% of them were voting for Bawumia, and 62% were voting for Kennedy. For those who say somebody who can bring change, 51% were voting for Bawumia and 26% were voting for Kennedy. For those who say grassroots, Bawumia 42%, Ken 30%. And for those who said someone who can win, Bawumia is 47%, Ken is 24%. And somebody who can unite MPP, Bawumia is 45%, Ken is 16%. And those who were using other factors to decide, Bawumia 45% and Ken 11%. So you can see that on all measures, Bawumia is leading on all the qualities except can fight.
The fighter, yes.
Yes, except the fighter. So this is consistent. And if you look at the numbers he's getting, averagely, that will be around 25. And on the headline poll, remember there are those who are saying they will not disclose. Those guys will disclose in the end, so it will change the numbers slightly towards the end. So what we are saying is that putting everything together in our projections, we believe that at the end of the contest, Bawumia is going to be on 57%, plus or minus 3% margin of error. Kennedy on 28%, plus or minus 3% margin of error. Brian 13%, plus or minus 3% margin of error. So you could see that even though Brian was around 6% in the headline poll, he seems to have jumped from 4% to 13%. That suggests that in the last days of the campaign, he was the one that getting the momentum, and the momentum he was getting was coming from Kennedy. Kennedy was losing vote to Brian in the last week or so of the campaign, and that is why Brian is projected to around 13%, even though he was at 6% on the headline poll.
So you won't be surprised, Mr. Musa Danquah, that Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia would win, though tomorrow, but with probably 80 or to 90% of the win. Would you be surprised?
No, it's highly unlikely he would get. Look, his best performance would not even exceed what he got last time. His best, if for some reason he outperformed any expectation.
The last time, I think
I don't see
60.
that. 61%.
61%.
Yes.
So he won't perform
And
better.
if Brian is in the race, Brian is taking numbers from him. If Brian is taking numbers from Kennedy, there's no way he's gonna make that number.
And won't you receive a shock of your life where Kennedy would receive massive support from the undisclosed you mentioned, and most of them vote for him, and he gets way up than 50%?
No, because look, let me look at this data for you, and you see why I'm saying no. We have looked at the same data, those who are voting now, and how they voted in the last election. 81% of those who went for Bawumia in the last election are still voting for him. 9% of his supporters have gone to Kennedy. 6% has gone to Brian. And 4% said they will not disclose. So among the undisclosed are Bawumia people as well. And then when it comes to Kennedy, 11% of those voting for Kennedy last year have switched to Bawumia, 11%. More than they have switched from Bawumia to Kennedy. So Bawumia has +2 advantage among those who are switching camp. Now, anybody who is going to win should not be losing net vote. I don't know whether you get me.
I do.
If you are winning, you should not be losing more votes to your opponent through the defection.
And Kennedy
Absolutely.
is losing.
And then when you look at those who did not vote, assuming they did not vote and they want to come out and vote for Kennedy to make up the difference, here we're not seeing that. Those who didn't vote, 48% are voting for Bawumia, 23% are voting for Kennedy, and 27% say they are not disclosing. Trust me, the undisclosed will break away, not different from the main race.
And you don't think...
So among those who say they are not disclosing, 3% of them, Bawumia guys, are not disclosing. Sorry, 4% of Bawumia guys are not disclosing.
Mr. Musa
Danquah,
your poll ended on which day?
23rd? On Friday, 23rd.
Okay, you don't think between 23rd and today, 30th, as we prepare for tomorrow, 31st, there could be enough machinations for things to change around?
Look, only 9% of the delegates are saying that they may change their mind. 9%. And normally, if people are amenable to changing their mind, they change their mind either for Bawumia or for Kennedy. And what will cause someone to change his mind, even though he's made up his mind as who to vote for? If the campaign for Bawumia goes on steady, smoothly till the end, it's unlikely people will move from him to anybody. If the campaign of Kennedy was going well and it begins to kind of jaunt, those who may be thinking of changing mind will change mind. And in the last few weeks or few days of the campaign, it has not been good for him in terms of public reaction to comments he made about Bawumia. And those are the things that could affect those who are either undecided to break away from you, and those who say they may change their mind, to change their mind from you to somebody else. So if you look at the trajectory of the race and what has happened, we don't see Bawumia suffering last minute. Rather, Kennedy may be the one suffering. And that's the reason why even Brian Champon is doing well, because we can see that Kennedy is suffering in the poll.
Calling Bawumia a liar, and that may cause him, right?
It didn't go down well with the delegates. Because we were tracking the post every day. The moment he made those comments, The following day, we saw his polling numbers coming down immediately.
Wow. So in effect, you are giving your opposition, the NDC, ammunition to come and battle you ahead of 2028 elections.
Well, that's what it looks like.
Mr. Musa Danquah, we want to leave you. Tomorrow is the D-Day. I know you will be so much engaged. We would also be here in our studios here in Amahia. We'll try to reach out to you. If in the course of the day you find some time, please talk to us. Let's look at the numbers as they come in. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
It's my pleasure.
All right, so that's the Global Info Analytics Executive Director, Mr. Musa Danquah. We engaged over there, and we're drawing the curtains down. But I have left some 4 flag bearer aspirants. I have to tell you of their profile, because if I do not, I'll be very unfair to them. So I want to quickly go back to that and run you through by the next 5 minutes. Then we'll be calling it an evening. Kofi, help me go to Dr. Brian Acheampong. Dr. Brian Acheampong. Let's look at Dr. Brian Acheampong ahead of tomorrow's major primaries as we prepare for the NPP presidential primaries. Dr. Brian Acheampong, Ghanaian politician, and he is an entrepreneur and a security expert, member of parliament for Abetifi constituency, former minister for food and agriculture, member of the New Patriotic Party, and obviously he is competing. Here are his strengths: strong financial capacity, strategic and disciplined security and intelligence background, appeals to party unity blocs. So the blocs who are saying we want unity, Brian Acheampong appeals to them as well. He's a grassroots mobilizer, media and communication loyalist. He's a business ally, youth focused. He wants jobs for the youth, and his educational background: Johnson and Wales University, USA, for his BSc and MBA business management. University of Ghana for his PhD in information systems. His weakness: here are his weaknesses, and he has low national popularity. Of course, he's not like the others, like Dr. Bawumia. You know Dr. Bawumia for pink shit. Hey, pink shit time. It wasn't easy. Seen as elite and observed, limited grassroots excitement. You know, he's not that exciting, the grassroots. Target delegates, regional and constituency executive. Of course, he's a Betifi, so he'll be targeting them. In region, Eastern region, he'll be targeting the Eastern region delegates. Party financiers, he will be targeting party financiers. Stability focused delegate, he's looking at all of that. Help me go to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Let's look at the profile of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Mr. Former Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, born on the 7th of October 1963 in Tamale, in the northern part of Ghana. Ghanaian economist and politician, of course, former Vice President between 2017 and 2025. His strength, strong academic and economic background, of course. Former governor, deputy governor of the Bank of Ghana. He was, okay. High national and international exposure, of course. Once he's been vice president, he has a national and international appeal, okay. Appeals to youth and middle class. Of course, the youth loves that man who wears the glasses and turns around, dances and holds the tia. More fast tia, no man. Appeals to the youth and the middle class as well. And his campaign team, former government appointee, policy technocrats, digital and media strategists, Northern Region Party elders. Education, University of Beckenham, UK, BSc Economics, first class. He had first class. Oxford University, UK, MPhil Economics. Simon Fraser University in Canada. His weakness, listen to his weakness. His weakness number 1, okay, tied to economic challenges of past government. Of course, 8 years of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo government, he's been tied to it, okay? And he was the vice president, so obviously. And perceived as less grassroots person, seen by some as elite and technocrat. Okay, so his target areas: TESCON 4, Yemba Chain, target delegate, TESCON members, we are coming to you. Urban and educated delegates, those who are living in urban cities and educated ones. Northern and Zongo delegates. So if you're from the northern region, northern extraction, and you are in the Zongo, like Medina, Zongo, whatever, Zongo, we are coming to you. Delegates loyal to Akufo-Addo legacy. We have some delegates who are really, really loyal to Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and they are the targets of Dr. Mahmudu Bawumia. The last two, Dr. Yao Osei Educhum, number 4. Let's go to Dr. Yao Osei Educhum, and there we have it, Dr. Yao Osei Educhum, and he's a Ghanaian educationist and politician, member of parliament for Bosumtwi constituency, former minister of education, and member of the New Patriotic Party. And his strengths: strong education credentials, he's very calm, clean public image. Onia Sembia chrono Sembia man in Chenya. Bakubi nanka manase pesa ode hanom nanso. All right. So he's a policy. He has strength in policy focused and disciplined. Appeals to professionals. Those professionals, executives, foreign professionals. He appeals to them. Educational background: KNUST, BSc, land, economy, and real estate. Obesi Diamond, University of Louvain, USA. And he had his master's education in management. His weakness: low grassroots visibility, limited nationwide popularity, and smaller political machinery. So Oniska, he doesn't have strong political or big political machinery. Okay. Targets delegate: education sector delegates, professional and technocrats, Ashanti region, because he's from Ashanti region. Intellectual bloc, he will go there. The Ashanti regional intellectual bloc, he will go there. Reform-minded delegates, those are his targets too. And the very final person over here is engineer Kwabena Ejepon. This man, impeccable man in English language, and Kufuor's press secretary, Ghanaian civil engineer and politician, former general secretary of the New Patriotic Party, long-time party organizer and administrator, of course, member of the New Patriotic Party. His strengths are deep party organizational knowledge. Of course, he has it. Disciplined and principled. On the way rough or the Ababi Chauto, he is very disciplined. Sent us loyal to party ideals. Experience in administration. Okay, his education: Fantipem School, secondary education, KNUST, BSc, civil engineering. His weakness: low national popularity. Only Dinkra, he doesn't command national popularity. Limited financial muscles. Only Sikakra. Come, let me give you money. Less appeal to youth voters. He's very, very much less appeal to the youth, and his targets delegates: former party executives, those who have worked and they are now at home. The delegates: old guard NPP loyalists and ideological party members, central party structures, and that is Dr. or Engineer Kwabena Ejepon this evening. And that's how we bring the bulletin to close this very evening. My name is Kofi Asante-Mensah, ably supported by my able team over here, and I leave you with a quote that says, God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we may listen twice as much as we speak. On this note, I say good evening to all of you. God willing, tomorrow, probably in the middle of the day or midday, we'll be here to gauge the mood of the election, and we wish the New Patriotic Party well as you go for your flag bearership race tomorrow. God be with you and have a good night.